welcome back to the Kidz Science Corner. Today I've got another awesome digital electronics project for us to try. This is the Home Light Automation project. This is a basic layout of how this project works, so let me walk you through it. We obviously have our battery and our ESP32 along with our server, and I'll explain a little bit more about that later. And then we have our smart LIFX bulb, and actually the cool thing about this is that it can connect to the Wi-Fi, connect to the internet. So the thing that I want to be able to do is on my laptop in the serial monitor of my code, I want to be able to type on, off, or any other color like red, blue, green. I want to be able to type one of those things, and then I want the smart bulb to automatically turn to that color when I press enter when I finish typing it. The first thing I did to kind of execute this project is I installed the LIFX app on my phone. And what that does, it registers the smart bulb to the server. And the server is just there. It's kind of like a machine. So it asked me to make an account, and with that account I have to, sign in, all of that, and I have to make an API token. With like API requests. And we talked about API keys a little last time. They were like, secret keys, secret passwords kind of to like actually identify that it's you. So we have to like create an API request. So let me walk you through about how this works, how like this is executed. So obviously we have our battery and then our ESP32. So the ESP32, when I type what I want to type, when I type it into the serial monitor, the ESP32 sends the API request, including the API token that we get from signing in and everything, and it sends it to the server. And it does it by by connecting to Wi-Fi. So it does it like the code explains that a little bit better, and I'll show that to you a little later. And then, for example, if you say like power on or something, it sends that plus the token to the server, and then that server sends that information to the smart bulb. And then the server sends it to the LIFX lamp, and then the LIFX lamp turns on, turns off, turns a specific color that we want it to turn. And then this is kind of like it kind of comes back. So what it does is when the smart bulb turns that specific color or state, it kind of says to the server, hey, I did this, like I turned on, I turned off, I turned one of these colors, and then the server lets the ESP32 know that the smart bulb has done this, so like stop executing the code, something like that. And that's just like that's just the communication between these three components. So now let's take a look at the actual components that we put together. Alright guys, so these are the three main components that we're using for this project. Actually, it's really simple. So we have our ESP32 and our breakout board. The breakout board, it's just, provides more connections. It's just all you do is put the ESP32 on the breakout board. And then we have obviously our battery. And then we have our star of the show. This is the LIFX smart bulb, and I'm gonna plug this into a lamp stand a little later. So yeah, these are our three main components that we're working with to execute this project. All right, guys, so before I walk you through the code really fast, this is where I had to make an account and sign in and everything. It's cloud.lifx.com/settings. So this is basically where you wanna go to create and generate your new API token. All right, now for the code. This is our code on Arduino IDE. It's a really simple code. All we're doing in lines 1 and 2 are including specific libraries, and then in lines 5 and 6, we're putting our Wi-Fi credentials in, like our SSID and our password. And then line number 16, or actually 14, is where it starts. It's connecting to the Wi-Fi. It's starting to connect to the Wi-Fi based off of the credentials that we provided it. And then in line 23, it's basically just asking us to type in a color in the serial monitor. As you can see, it says type on, off, red, green, or blue. It's just basically asking us to type a color or a state in the serial monitor. And then in lines 27, basically all it's asking, so once you type the information in the monitor, you can type as much as you want, but it'll wait until you press enter, and then if you keep as long as you don't press enter, it'll keep reading what you type. So that's basically what it's saying. Keep reading until the user presses enter. And then in line 31, all it's doing is recognizing the inputs like on, off, and then these different colors like red, blue, green. And then in line 43, basically it sends the inputs to the LIFX, this LIFX URL. It just sends it to the URL and LIFX when inputting lines, like based off of the inputs in line 31 and 34, it sends it to LIFX, and then also it sends the inputs to this URL right here. And then it's also saying, so these last lines of code, it's also saying if a color is typed, it stays like if you type on or off, it'll just turn on or off. But then if you type a specific color, it'll say that specific color, and it'll also say power on, because it's also powered on while typing that specific color. So that's just basically for neatness and organization. And I just wanted to show you guys where I also got the API token. So right here in this line number 9, as you can see, it says bearer, and make sure it has a bearer space and then your token. And then when you sign in, LIFX will give you your token. So I've already uploaded the code onto the ESP32. So all I'm gonna do is I'm gonna plug it in, and I already plugged in my lamp too, or my smart bulb. There we go. All right, it's all plugged in, and this is our serial monitor. Just click right here, and then you get your serial monitor. It connected to Wi-Fi, and now it's saying type on, off, red, green, or blue. Those are the options. I'm gonna type on, and then there we go. It automatically turned on, and I'm just laying the bulb down here so you can see it. And then the color is red right now, so let's change it. Let's change it to green. There we go, and it's green. Now I want it to be blue, so let's change it to blue. All right, now let's go back to red. There we go. And now let's type off to see if it turns off. And it turned off. All right, guys. Well, that was the home automated light project. I really hope you guys enjoyed it. And actually, if you guys have other smart things in your house, like smart fans, other smart lights, you guys could use the ESP32 to automate your entire house. And you could do so many other automated projects with this. It's actually really cool. And if you're wondering why we specifically use LIFX app, you could obviously use so many other light bulb apps, but LIFX was really easy because it had that special feature of the API token. It was really easy to make a code with it. So we just thought overall, it was really easy. So that's why we chose LIFX. And this project actually has a part 2 to it. So in the next video, I'm going to try and incorporate the voice recognition module, if that sounds familiar to anyone. And I'm going to actually try to, instead of typing it in on the serial monitor, I'm going to say the color that I want out loud, like turn blue, turn green, turn off, turn on, etc., like that. And then I want the light bulb to do that. So make sure to look out for that video. All right, guys, that was it. See you guys later. Bye.